Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to introduce the first Fireside Chat of the day, Payments Pulse, Global Investment and Trading Insights. Please welcome on stage Karel Voigt, Strategic Sales Director, and Alex Orechoff, Director of Vertical Growth Financial Services, who will give the pulse of payments and provide a newly released research from the Worldpay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karel Voigt. I'll be your moderator today. Today we'll be discussing our new trading report on global investments and trading. We will start off with a quick round of introductions, after which we will go in more detail. Alex, I'm very pleased to announce you're here.
Thanks, Karel. So just to introduce myself, my name's Alex Orechoff. I'm head of vertical growth for the financial services group at Worldpay. So what that means is that my role is to bring focus to our sales teams in where in financial services our products are going to be most applicable to, kind of creating those opportunities for people to interact with clients as well as our teams, as well as figure out how we're going to evolve our products in the future, which is where we come into play. Is we're doing a lot of research and insights on what is going on in our trader and investors' preferences at the moment, but also how is that going to evolve the needs for brokerages, investment platforms to change their payments journey in the future to become more profitable, increase their growth, so on and so forth, based off of their goals.
So I'll quickly introduce myself as well. Thanks, Alex. I'm a strategic sales director at Worldpay. I've been working in the financial service industry for more than 6 years now, and the last 3.5 years at Worldpay, responsible for the onboarding of new trading platforms. We will discuss the trading report in more detail now. There are two main topics, the consumer behaviors on one side and the business needs on the other side. Alex, could you maybe give a bit overview about the trading report itself?
Yeah, so what we realized when we were kind of like going through, we always asked ourselves, what are actually traders wanting out of their payments journey compared to the normal payments journeys that are out there? If you go onto Google and you type in like, oh, what are these preferences? It's always tying to like the everyday payment methods. It's like, how does that change compared to the retail experience? And in a lot of respects, it's going to be the same. But what we decided to do is we did a survey with a partner called Global Data, surveying about 10,000 people in 10 different countries, and asked them, what are your payment preferences? What are your preferences when selecting a trading or brokerage platform? What are you investing in? What do you care about from a security perspective? But also, how do you want to get your money back as part of that whole journey? So with that, in a couple of weeks, we're essentially releasing this report so that all our clients, as well as potential clients, can actually learn a little bit more about their customers through the eyes of the payments journey.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. And in a bit more detail, when looking at these trading behaviors compared to like a normal consumer behavior, what are the key things to think about?
Yeah, so with this, like one of the things that first off, like what we discovered in surveying all these people is that the demographics were a lot more balanced than we ever anticipated. So roughly every age group is roughly equal in terms of how they approach trading in investment platforms. They come from roughly equally distributed income brackets as well. So what that means is there's a lot of diversity of consumers out there. And what that also means is that you're going to have to create payments experiences that fit the various preferences of those groups, or you have to make a decision on targeting one of those groups based off of how well you know them and how well you think you can profit off of them.
And looking from a payments perspective, how would you then target, let's say, middle-aged people as an example?
Yeah, so what's in our report is we can actually look at some of the payment preferences based off of age groups. So a simplification of the answer here is that as people get older, they have certain payment methods that they got used to when they were introduced. So the older you get, more likely they're going to prefer a bank transfer. But younger generations are more likely to experiment with their payment method. So That's with digital wallets, so Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, so on and so forth, but also some of the new open banking methods that are out there, having a preference per a specific credit card. But in the middle age group, what we've kind of experienced is that there is more preference for the payment method of choice, partly because their loyalty points associated to them, but also it's just something that they prefer. So, for instance, I don't want to call myself middle-aged yet, but in reality, I probably fall into that, starting to fall into that group. I grew up on Amex in the United States. They targeted students at a very specific time. So almost everyone in my age group has used Amex, and that is the preferred payment method of choice for people of my demographic in the US. So what a lot of retail trading platforms out there are doing is they're really figuring out how can you put Amex as like one of the payment methods of choice so that I don't then go to another platform. And that's actually one of the things we discovered in this journey here is that 1 out of 5 consumers will, if they don't have the payment method of choice, and this is regardless of the age group, if they didn't have their payment method of choice, they switch platforms. Which kind of sounds silly because like logically I'll just like, oh, they don't accept MasterCard, I'll go to my Visa. No, they'll just like, I'll go to the one that accepts MasterCard, which is interesting in terms of the behavior.
Definitely. What else is important besides, let's say I'm a broker, I want to target middle-aged people, besides the available payment methods, what else could be important for them?
Yeah, so actually simplicity was something that was very important across the board, actually, simplicity and security. So one thing that you want to think about is when you're creating your journey as a brokerage, is you need to make it, obviously there's a lot of regulations on proving that an investor knows what they're trading in, that you have the right information for KYC, but the key is making it as simple as possible. So in another bit of research that we did a while back, we discovered that about 30% of people drop off as you push people to the next page. That actually was kind of mirrored in our answers when we like did the surveys. We asked, okay, what are the things that annoy people the most? Is that re-entry of information, so from like just the same platform, but also how much information had to be put in. So you don't want to spend so much time branding things, having advertising out there, spending digital content, spreading the word about why your journey is the best, and have people just drop off. So simplicity is definitely important, but you can't discount security as well. So a lot of countries, especially as probably I would say a big trend that you can see even here at the conference is that it's a lot about geo expansion, going into new markets, and as quickly as possible, and our clients are doing the same. So with that, it's about creating security, and security really matters, and specifically in certain markets. So UK, Australia, Brazil, Argentina, I think was also on it. But you want to prove that that the payment is secure. So that means you need to have instant confirmation of deposit. You might want to have more tokenization, explain the security measures that are going up front so that your customer feels comfortable about it. But also you want to make sure that it might have some sort of authentication. So think Apple Pay, like you're doing your facial recognition as part of the journey. That adds to the sense of security around your journey as well.
So basically what you're saying is that the trading platforms need to reduce the friction and have a better communication to the traders. Is there anything else you would like?
Yeah, so honestly, it's also about, it's really about creating also a really transparent process about payouts as well. So it's very easy to put money into a platform and making sure it's available to trade immediately. And we've really mastered that as trading investment platforms. Very rarely when you have to wait for funds to get into account these days. But also, like, I think there's nothing more stressful than trying to request a payout and then waiting multiple days and like, oh, where's my money? That's literally, you're never going to put money back into a platform if you feel like you're not going to get it back again. So you want to, like, as much as we want to make sure that liquidity is great at any given time, you also want to give that sense of security that the money's going to come out, so that you're going to be more likely to put more money into a platform and trade, because that's how a platform will make money, is the volumes, actually customers having success.
So by the looks of it, these trading brokerages, they're very well, in terms of consumer behavior, they're very aware of what's needed in the market. What else can these businesses do to improve the trading experience?
Yeah, so actually what's really interesting is that like, everyone always complains their customer experience is terrible, like, in general. Like, that's just a predominant activity that I think consumers tend to gripe about. But actually, with trading, even compared to some of the other verticals that we're in, most people responded to the survey saying they were satisfied or extremely satisfied with their trading experience. So, and that's phenomenal. Great. We've offered the right APMs, alternative payment methods. We're doing a lot of things right. So now what matters is we have to think about it as a business perspective. Like, we know that inflation's high. We know that interest rates are high. So that means for a company, that means getting financing costs a lot more than it used to. Getting investors to put money into it, a lot more difficult than it used to be. So how do you move from a growth mindset, or solely a growth mindset, to a profitability mindset? So payments is actually a critical, or sometimes a critical aspect, but a really good enabler to the whole saving money here.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Alex. Like, to sum it up, what else could these brokerages do in terms of reducing the cost?
Yeah, so it goes back to some of the generational aspects here. So as head of financial services, I also work with other different industries. So I like to compare this to insurance sometimes. So one of our clients was actually talking about how they saw a massive increase in Amex transactions that they weren't expecting. And they were, oh, we're really happy about this. Great, awesome. But there's two aspects to this, is that Amex, one, typically costs more than other payment methods. So you want to figure out, do you want that extra costs for the type of customers that are coming in? But two, there might be some after sales aspects and knock-on effects to your operations. So within the insurance industry, like, most of the costs come to resolving a claim. So call centers, people going back and forth, expecting certain results. And well, it's kind of a myth that Amex users are more, have higher incomes all the time. That is something you want to figure out. Is like, is that the type of consumer you want to be servicing, and is that going to have knock-on costs? So luckily with trading, it's like, you want to have someone who's more affluent, because chances are they might put more money into their accounts with a trader, or have more access to funding. So with this, like, you might want to target having that as a payment method if, like, available, depending on the region. But you also want to think about, okay, what is my target market? And and how do I optimize what I offer to save money, whether it's on just putting them in through the right journey to maximize on that.
So as an example, that will be offering the right payment method per country. Is there anything else you would advise a broker to reduce the cost?
Yeah, so it's very easy. It's like one aspect is think about how many partnerships you have. So, like, it's, as again, we talked about geo expansion, moving into multiple countries. It's always better to go in with a payment provider that's in multiple of those countries, because it's much easier for you to manage it. Most brokerage platforms, investment platforms, especially, you can see here, they don't have thousands of employees necessary to manage every single, like, partner that's out there. What you want to do is try to simplify and be with the payment providers that are in as many countries as possible, that are thinking about the future as well, so that you don't have to think about the innovations. They'll have it ready when you need it. The other thing is that most of the payment providers, including us, will provide advice on how to optimize the costs and solutions for like a company that's out there. So based off of what your target market is, especially. So for example, if like acceptance rates are low, we often talk about how can we boost those with our relationship managers and with our optimization team. What changes can you make to do that? We also look at chargebacks. It's like, okay, especially with card payments, you don't want to have excessive chargebacks, but you also don't want to be completely risk adverse as well, because you might be chasing people away and putting them in the arms of your competitors. So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of insights and knowledge in this report. Is there anything that really grabs your mind when reading a report like is a topic you?
Yeah, so actually one of the things that I was really also interested in is just payouts. Most people like will think that payouts are going only or mainly to banks and bank transfers. Actually, what the report came up with is it's only about 50% of transactions these days or consumers want 50% of the transactions to go to a bank. With digital wallets, you can reimburse a digital wallet. You could also push to your cards in a lot of cases. Actually has some benefits downstream is if you're taking funds from a specific card and you put it back to that same card, it's the same owner. It's probably help with like reinforcing your KYC and AML. All of this means like less processes, makes it easier to make sure you're doing the right thing.
So talking about payouts, would you say communication is an important aspect?
Oh yeah. So actually, I think it's pay-ins and payouts. It's important. So on a pay-in perspective, deposit confirmation quite important. Nothing is scarier when you have money in the Ethernet, so to say, in the ether, not in your account yet. You want to know where it is. But also it's the same thing with payouts is you want to make sure it's as that you get confirmation that you know what you're going to get out of the process. So for example, if we go back to costs, yes, there are opportunities where you can do faster payments and it's in less than 30 minutes, but that's not necessarily like, it might be too costly for your business. But if you can explain, hey, this is going to take 2 days, you can do this faster by paying this extra amount, great. Obviously, that has to change, or that depends on the regulations of every given market. But like that's one way of making sure you give confidence to users.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing, Alex. Where can we find this report?
So we are releasing the report on our site in the next few weeks. So if you want to reach out to anyone who has a Worldpay badge here, or if you go to the charging lounge downstairs, we'll happily take down information and send it to you. It's 50 pages or so of insights specifically to trading and investments. And it really also includes a lot about choice of what not just like what the payments journey should be, but also how they're choosing their brokerages in context of that. So it's pretty good insights for you guys. And on top of it, we're always happy to talk through it.
Thanks, everyone. Are there any questions?
Ooh, silence. Perfect. Awesome. Well, we'll be outside and downstairs as well. So if you want a risk-free place to ask any questions about payments or our perspectives about the industry, we are happy to talk through that.
Thank you.